Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back. Infamous NYC coming back with another build video for the Melee Magicka Nightblade. If you had the opportunity to check out my streams, you know I've been playing Melee Magicka Nightblade primarily in Battlegrounds. Very rarely I'd play it in Cyrodiil, but I mostly enjoy playing Battlegrounds, much more competitive. And the vast majority of my builds, while playable in Cyrodiil, are mostly designed for BGs, for survivability and damage. I've always enjoyed playing Magicka Nightblade. I've been playing it probably a little over a year now, and I originally made my Magicka Necromancer back when all the wardens were spamming ice spam, root spam. So I ended up making my Nightblade a Nord, primarily because back then the Nord had access to reduction to the chilled status effect, which means that when people are spamming ice, you don't get rooted by via chilled, which is the passive on the destructive staff. It says it roots, and it says it reduces the speed and immobilizes chilled enemies. So this is primarily why I went that way with the Nord. Also for the extra tankiness for survivability, but also back then Nord didn't have access to this alt gen bullshit that they gave them. What they had was 20% extra health regen, and you can see my old build had really high health recovery. I had 2k health recovery on my build. On the previous build that I ran, which was more of like a cloaking light armor, I ran full invigorating. I ran 5 invig with two divines, and I ran for like high mobility, and that did fairly well for me. I enjoyed playing it a lot. So for this coming patch, I'm kind of working on this build right now. I played a variation of it multiple times on stream. So what I'm going to be running for next patch is going to be same class. It's going to be a Nord in Cyrodiil, all pointed to Magicka. I'm running the Atro, right, for the extra recovery. I'm running 2 Slime Crawl. Probably not going to run 1 Divines. I just put it in just to see what it looked like. I really don't need that many points into critical. Like typically 20% is like more than enough, so you can kind of use one spot as a flex spot. And I typically always run reinforced on the chest piece for the maximum amount of mitigation. And as you can see, I'm running ancient dragon guards, the Curios, and you can see the 5-piece there gives you both weapon and spell damage. The weapon damage is actually really useful because we're running dual wield, and we typically don't have access to buffing the damage via dual wield, because it's based off of your stamina and your weapon damage. This works out really well because it gives you the extra weapon damage, and you can see the weapon damage right here is almost 3,400, which means that our dual wields are going to hit a little bit harder. On the current patch, I think I'm like 2k, or not even 2k, maybe just a little bit under 2k weapon damage, and typically I hit for like around maybe 1,100 on a heavy attack. So the extra damage will be more than welcome. The other bonuses is that when you're while you're above 50% HP, you have access to the extra weapon and spell damage, but then when you're below 50%, you have access to the extra mitigation. And you can see the extra mitigation right here. This is buffed up. We're just shy of 22 and 23.6 on spell, and then of course once you get below 50%, you'll see your shoot up to 27 and 20 and 25 and 25k physical resistance. And of course, the other set that you can see, I'm running Clever Alchemist. Clever Alchemist is getting a buff. Both the amount of damage that the 5-piece is going to give you is going to be increased. Currently, it's like 6 and change. I think it's 661. I think it's getting boosted to like 675, but the uptime is really what's the difference. Is currently it's 15 seconds. For next patch is going to be 20 seconds. So you're going to have longer periods of uptime, which is more than welcome. The other set that I'm running on the front bar, of course, is 2 pieces of willpower, and that's for the extra max Magicka. And you can see with the glyphs, I'm running flame damage and Nirnhoned, and then disease damage and sharpen for the maximum amount of penetration. Right? You can see the pen that we're working with is 6260, and that's not including the pen from Reaper's Mark. Originally I ran infused on this bar, but for this build I'm going with infused on the back bar and a resto staff. You can run either a resto or destro. I'm running a resto staff for the major mending, right? Whenever you heavy attack with a resto staff, you gain access to major mending, and I'm running multiple hots. As you can see, I'm running Swallow Soul, and I'm also running Dark Cloak, so when I basically can pop Dark Cloak, and if I feel I'm getting pressured a little too much, I can toss in a heavy attack and it'll boost the amount of healing that I get from Dark Cloak. As you can see right there, it went from 1600 to 2k, and then the healing of course got buffed to 45% of the damage. And then of course I'm also running leeching, so the leeching heals will also get buffed whenever you use a heavy attack on your back bar. That's typically utilized, when you need to regen or when you're just looking to get a little bit of extra healing because you're getting a little too much pressure. In terms of the food, I'm running with gold food, as you can see right here. And then for this particular build, you're gonna want to gold out both the Ancient Guardian as well as the Clever Alchemist, because the 5-piece is affected by the status, the type of not the weight. But if you're running purple, you're gonna have the 5 pieces affected. It's not like the overworld sets are not affected by the whether you're running blue, green, etc. But every crafted set is. So you're kind of gonna have to gold out the rings as well, which will be expensive. But I play this build a lot, so it'll be worth it for me. For this particular build, as you can see, this is with a pot. I am running 900 stamina. I wasn't quite sure if 900 was going to be enough, so I went with an infused stamina recovery. I'm probably going to try it first with a arcane, and if I feel I can't sustain, then I'll switch over to infused. Obviously not going to gold it out first. The second one is an infused potion reduction for reducing the pot cooldown by 8 seconds. So that'll give us a little bit more uptime on Clever Alchemist and reduce the amount of times that we can use the pot by 8 seconds. So it's normally 43, and then this cuts it down to 35, so that leaves you with a 15-second cooldown on the Clever Alchemist proc. And then the last one is a recovery glyph. I'm not running any spell damage, and that's because you can see my spell damage is right here, and that's actually so fully buffed. You see we're just shy of 4k. And then when you drop below 50%, when you get to like 13k, you'll drop down to 3600. That's with Clever Alchemist and with the light attack on the back bar. And I think that's basic. In terms of, you can see what I'm running here, Lotus Fan for the gap closer. You can see the tooltips right there. Gives you an extra 8% damage from minor vulnerability, so you don't need to run a shot glyph because you have 100% uptime. Literally on anybody that you hit within 6 meters, they're going to gain minor vulnerability. Concealed weapon, you can see the tooltip right there. 8k. Running Mass Hysteria for the fear. You can see the tooltip on the Merciless is coming in at 17k, and of course I gotta take off the major mending because it should be like 51% for the heal. Yeah, 52%. You can see it's 17k, fully buffed up. Running Reaper's Mark on the front bar because the passive gives you extra spell critical. Running Swallow Soul. On this build that I was playing recently, I was running with Rapid Regen. If you're playing in Battlegrounds, then I would recommend running Swallow Souls. If you're using this build, for example, to play solo in like Open World Cyrodiil, then you can use Rapid Regen because the heal is better with Rapid Regen. But I kind of liked using, but sometimes in, if you're playing in a small group or if you're playing Battlegrounds, you're not always necessarily granted the heal. So I kind of decided, since I play a lot of Battlegrounds, to go with Swallow Soul, even though the other one is a little bit better. Rapid Regen is better for group play. Leeching Strikes because, like I said, my old build, because I roll dodge a lot on my Magicka Necromancer, on my Magicka Magblade. I roll dodge, I situationally block, sometimes I need to sprint. I didn't have access to Race Against Time on the build that I was playing. I will have access to it with this build as I dropped Mage Light. And even though I'm missing out on a little bit of the extra max Magicka, the potions that I'm going to use for this build will be weapon spell crit pots. So it'll give you the spell crit pots. It'll give you the spell crit pots, it'll give you max Magicka, as well as giving you max health, which is why I'm a little more worried about my stamina recovery. 900 it might be enough, as well as being able to dual wield with the dual wield heavy attacks will give you back stamina. So I decided to put Leeching Strikes in there just to see. I'll test it out. If I think I can't recover without the Leeching Strikes, I'll add the Leeching Strikes, but it's basically just kind of like a flex spot. The other thing is that's good is that while you're dual wield heavy attacking and while you're light weaving, while you're doing like light attacks concealed, light attacks into a gap closer, it will still give you healing. So you have healing over time from Swallow Soul, you'll get healing over time from Leeching Strikes, as well as stamina or Magicka, or you could just drop it, it's entirely up to you. And then you'll have healing over time from Dark Cloak, as well as the mitigation. So especially because you're playing a Magicka build, you're in light armor, you don't necessarily have the highest of physical resistance. And previously I didn't have access to Race Against Time, the added healing over time, because you're gonna get, like, they see a Magicka Nightblade, people are gonna like gang up on you, so I kind of needed as much healing over time as you can. And I typically play my melee Magicka Nightblade as a brawler, even though I'm in light armor. It's just my playstyle. It's just my preferred playstyle. Previously, I was not using I was not using a dot. The only dot that I had access to was from Structured Entropy, and actually I think I actually need to put back Structured Entropy onto this build, because I didn't want to have downtime on Major Sorcery. So I think I'm either going to have to either drop Leeching or run with degen for that, so that I have access to at least, you know, full uptime on Major Sorcery, and not have to run Major Sorcery and Spell Critical and then only have access to Max Magicka and not have access to health. So that'll give you access to 2 dots. This will give Debilitate, will give you the slow as well as a little bit of a dot. It's got almost a 13k dot, as well as giving you access to minor Magicka Steel, which will give you an extra 300 every second. So it's the equivalent of an extra 600 in combat. So that'll put you over 2k. And then of course Structured Entropy will give you another dot, as well as giving you access to Major Sorcery. And then on the back bar, I've always ran Veil of Blades. I feel on a Magicka Nightblade, Veil of Blades is an amazing ability, especially when you're fighting multiple opponents. But your primary ability that you're going to use for bursting multiple opponents down, or for if you don't want to waste the CC, you can just go right into a Soul Tether. Soul Tether, as you can see, heals you for 50% of the upfront damage, as well as healing you for an additional 2k every second for anybody who's within 10 meters for 8 seconds. And then of course it also has a synergy. So you can either run Veil of Blades. I've also run, for group play, I've also run Bolstering. Bolstering will give your entire team major protection, as well as a really amazing synergy that a lot of people for some reason just don't use. And it's just because most people don't, like, there's not a lot of Magicka Nightblades, especially melee Magicka Nightblades. There's almost like no melee Magicka Nightblades that I see that play this game. Very few. So a lot of people are limited in their mentality on how to play the class. Typically, they either play it as a ranged Destro Resto build, or it gets played, you know, as a bomber. And like, those are the only 2 specs that people can think of. But this is a more than viable. You can see the damage, the effective spell power is coming in at almost 9742, and the mitigation is actually pretty. Mitigation is actually pretty good for the amount of healing over time. I think that basically covers the entire build. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section. Not sure if I mentioned I am running the 2 Slime Crawl for the Minor Berserk. 100% uptime on Minor Berserk. The other thing that I did want to mention is make sure to always have Reaper's Markup, because when that opponent dies, it gives you access to Major Berserk as well as the heal. You can see the heal on Major Berserk is 17k. And then with Major Berserk up, right, we go from 9742 effective spell power. For the next 5 seconds, we jump up to almost 12k effective spell power. And you can basically, if you have enough, you see your Merciless jumps up to almost 28, and then your Concealed goes up to 10k. And then of course, you know, basically all of your damage gets buffed because of the Major Berserk. So this is literally an ability you always want to make sure you have. You're basically going to keep your 2 dots up and keep this up and wait for opportunities to burst. If you can take down an opponent without wasting your Merciless proc, kill that opponent, gap close to your next, fear into a Merciless proc and an ult, and you'll kill your second opponent or multiple opponents. Very strong build. I'm looking forward to actually playing this particular loadout. The loadout that I have been playing originally was my old Magicka Nightblade. Where is it? This one. This is the old one that I was playing. As you can see, was only coming in at 7k, and this was more of my HP build. As you can see right there, I had sitting with a pot. This is a no CP. These are my no CP stats that I was playing on my last build, and then the build that I'm going to be playing right now is going to be much stronger. The only problem is, if you're going to be running that build, if you don't have anybody that can craft the Dragon Guard set for you, you're going to have to do the quest in Southern Elsewhere. You're going to have to do all of the quests, like all of the campaign quests for Southern Elsewhere, as well as the dailies. And it takes a few daily quests. So you'll notice like all of the NPCs that kind of have like this little rectangle or something. Not a rectangle. It's like I don't know. It's like a four-sided. It's like this weird shaped kind of quest icon over them. It's not the usual like purple or white one that you see over them. There's like specific icons for the campaign quests. You have to do all of them, and I think that there's 6 of them. But not only do you have to do those, there's also a daily quest that'll appear right here in Tideholm once you open up the Dragon Guard, and it's by this NPC right here. Chisbari the Chipper. She'll give you a daily quest where you have to go and kill, you know, there's like dragons that spawn here. You kill 3 dragons, you hand it in, and you get that quest. This person right here, I believe also, I think after like 2 or 3 quests, this person will give you a quest. And then there's another NPC that's right down here that will also give you a quest right here. This NPC will also give you a quest. So you have to do like X amount of quests before you can open up the Dragon Guard Sanctum, and in the Dragon Guard Sanctum is where you'll have access to the crafted set. Like they put it, the set is behind a paywall and a fucking quest wall. It's so annoying. I didn't realize that it was like this until I actually went. I was like, oh, let me go craft it, and then because you don't see it. Like when you open up the map, you don't see it on the map. It's hidden in Tideholm. You have to open this up, and the only way that you can do that is via questing. It forces you to do the quest, and it forces you to do the daily quests, which you can check out. I think it's under is it collections? I forget. I always forget where this thing is. No, it's in the journal. It's journal achievements, and then you go down to Dragonhold quests, and it's called, let's see, where is it? It's somewhere in here. It's not the shield. It's not the dragon. No, it's not this one. It's somewhere in here. It's somewhere in here where you have to, it'll tell you like you have to do like X amount of quests. I think it's this one. Is it restoring order? Yeah, this is it. This is it right here. Restoring the order. Complete 12 Dragon Guard quests, including daily quests from Dirge, from that guy right here. It's actually these two, excuse me. It's this guy and then the Khajiit up there. It's not that. It's not that one. It's the Khajiit up here and this guy. They both give you a quest, and then you have to do, where is it? Is it under map? These quests. You have to do all 6 of these quests and 6 dailies before this will open. So it's going to take you a few days if you're looking to run this set, or if you have someone who's already done it and they'll craft it for you for free, or if you have to pay for it. It's entirely up to you. I'm just going to end up doing the quests as I need a couple of more. This has been a long video. Please forgive me, but thanks for watching. Take care. God bless.